Now I would like to say welcome to Mr. Niels Martin Jørgensen from CIRKEL Energi. Are you on, Niels Martin?
Oh yeah, I'm here. No worries.
Very good.
There's no picture. I don't have a decent webcam with me, so you'll have to stick to the voice thing in the presentation.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
I trust sound quality is fine. So if you're ready, I'll just start sharing my presentation.
Yes, we'll do that. The presentation you're going to make is how does small wind stop sailing against the wind?
Yeah.
Yep. The presentation is coming. Here we are.
Yeah. Let me know when you see it.
Yep, it's here. So please go on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks all for listening in, and thanks for being encouraged to join the meeting, Morten, also this time, and thanks for having it at all in these times. The title of this presentation: How does small-scale wind stop sailing up against the wind? I'm not here to pick a fight with anybody, but I'll fight if I have to. What I want to speak a little about is how we look at things in CIRKEL Energi, and how I personally look at things, and I'll try to stimulate some debate, at least for future talks. Hang on, I'll just need to. Come on. Presentation mode is not working. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'll need to stop sharing for a second and get the presentation up and running. A different way. And here we go again. You see my screen now?
Yes.
Morten?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
No problem.
Okay, so just in brief, CIRKEL Energi or CIRKEL Energy in English, blah, blah, blah. I showed this a couple of times before. We've been selling small wind for more than a decade now, from 5 kilowatts up to 100 kilowatt machines, sold more than 500 projects in Denmark and northern Germany, and it's part of a group working with electronics and energy systems in the broad sense, and we do on-grid, off-grid, hybrid solutions, and until now at least, our business focus has been return of investment oriented, and we prefer to keep things that way, seeking not to work with any subsidized kind of customer business case. So I claim that the small wind is sailing up against the wind, at least to some degree. And what I want to speak about is what is the opportunity for the small scale wind industry in general. Probably from a Northern European perspective, and I understand that the world is a lot bigger than Europe, but Europe is our home base, and this is our point of view on things. I think there are four key questions that we need to address and try to answer if we are going to look at what the opportunity is for small wind. First of all, we need to look at who we are up against, because you're always up against somebody. I'm not talking about ourselves. I'm talking about who could threaten us. We need to look at how desired, how wanted is what we have to offer, whatever market there is. Then we need to look at what is our current state, what's the status as an industry, and then I want to look at what we should be offering in the future. Where should we be headed to? Okay, so who are we up against? I hate quoting myself, but this is from a presentation I made more than 1 year ago, that in which I claimed that energy in general is governed by big corporations and politics. I hate to see the politics or politicians as opponents, but until now they have not been playing with us, all in all, as I see it. Then we have the fact that big wind turbines are still extremely minuscule compared to big fossil energy. And big renewable is not always eco-friendly. And we have the fact that small wind is extremely minor compared to big renewable. So I think that's against us. And subsidies, by the way, they lead to political dependence and fluctuations, and that again increases uncertainty. Building an industry, building a business, providing, making promises to customers, providing the turbines, the services, and the know-how. And I claimed 1 year ago that the only political influence we need is higher carbon taxes and green determination. That's fine, but higher energy prices, that will solve most of the problems, and we will provide the rest. Another piece of recycled data is these statistics painting the broader picture of our position in small wind in the energy market. Okay, they're not brand new figures. The data stops at 2015. The small green area you see here, that's others. So that's basically renewable energy. That's photovoltaic, solar, and wind energy. So in the big picture, what we're dealing with here doesn't really matter. That's why there's no political attention on things, and that's probably why there's no considerable capital waiting for small-scale wind to support the development of the industry. Because got the fossil fuels, that's the black, that's the red one, that's a gray one. Their dominance, nuclear doesn't really, in the big picture, matter too much. Even that is minuscule. Hydro, something, and then we got small wind turbines, and we probably have like 1 pixel down here in the green one, the best case. So I think that's what we're up against. We're up against no matter the fact that no matter what we do, it's not going to be significant, and we will have problems attracting attention from the outside. So we have to look at what can be done. So we stop sailing up against the wind. I'm not claiming that this is the full picture, but these are some bold statements made by me. So how do we stop sailing up against the wind? Well, the third question is, what is our current state? Well, where are we at? I think I see that the key characteristics of our industry right now as a whole, is that no matter what we do, it's going to be pretty small time compared to anything else in or any other industry working even remotely with energy or machinery or infrastructure. So that's development, that's manufacturing, that's the installation, that's service. It's never going to be a big industry. I'm not saying that big is beautiful, but we just have to be realistic about it. We are going to be a fraction of the energy industry. The state right now also is that directly or indirectly, in more or less most cases, the industry feeds off subsidized opportunities. Subsidized in the broad sense. We have a feed-in tariff for some months, a year somewhere. Then it's canceled or it never happens, and then people go belly up, putting all their money on a horse called Japan or wherever it is. So no matter what, the window of opportunities is short-lived, and it's uncertain, and it's unpredictable in many cases. We can have subsidized opportunities in terms of third world energy development, which is fine, but it's still subsidized. Then I think pretty much it's a survivor's game. I think it was the Swedish gentleman who mentioned that people go, or was it John Kemp who mentioned that companies come and go, and there has been a number of companies disappearing over the past 2 years. It's a fact also that the price performance ratio is through the roof, post small wind due to low volume. Probably due to other things also, but it's a fact that when you're dealing with manufacturing, high volume spells lower cost. Simple as that. Then small scale wind has pretty much no appeal to big money. That means big capital due to the low performance, low growth, low revenues, and basically low potential for business development. And also, I've heard it so many times over the years, people generally don't consider a small wind turbine to be a infrastructure component as they would a power plant or a big wind turbine. It's considered to be machines, not infrastructure solution. And then there's no genuine appeal in small wind to politicians or to politics. So it's kind of tough to attract anything else that's short-lived attention from politicians, be that locally or regionally or nationally. I've pretty much given up getting any politician to even understand or listen to the reality of small wind industry. So I claim that regardless of what we can offer right now, we are either, as an industry, we need to step up or step aside. Not stepping aside as laying down and dying, but simply just stay where we are at and stay out of the headwind. So what should we be offering in the future? Well, let's look at what triggers the interest in smaller and medium scale wind turbines. We have seen a development over the past few years, at least in the Danish and German markets, going a slightly more away from return on investment only and tree hugging. That's point 1 and 2 on this list, and looking into other reasons for establishing small wind turbines. And I've been pleased to hear that some of these have been addressed today by the other presenters also. Probably got environmental concerns that's a good old tree hugger who wants to save the world by putting up a wind turbine. It's very admirable, but doesn't really fly if we are to have a sustainable industry. Return on investment trigger, the return on investment trigger is fine, but it's subsidy driven. If people can get a crazy 32, 33 euro cent per kilowatt hour feed-in tariff in Denmark, it's fine, but it's short-lived. Last time we got 8 months and 10 days on that. And then that part of the industry got snuffed by the politicians. We've seen it everywhere else, and in other segments of the energy industry also, with PV and other things. You've seen it in the UK as well. Then we got regulatory requirements for energy efficiency. It hasn't really risen yet, but with the future goals of energy efficiency of private homes, there could be an opportunity in becoming energy neutral or energy negative or carbon negative by simply putting up a wind turbine. Why not? It's done with PV solar and other things. So could be a trigger. Security of supply is growing a bit more here, but it's a very, very exclusive segment. People simply don't want to run a diesel generator. They want to have a wind turbine providing the energy. Then we have a new segment. I call it the Bang & Olufsen segment. People who want to identify with going green. They want to have a wind turbine because they feel it's the right thing to do. It's a case, or we could call it the BMW segment. You don't need to spend 50,000 euros extra on the big BMW, but you want to because you think it's you. It's beyond me that we haven't, as an industry, over the past 15, 20 years, been able to utilize that opportunity more, but it's because it has been pretty much been destroyed by the return on investment opportunities that's surface and die. And then we have a new sixth trigger, also autonomy. I don't know what's going on, but we started over the past year or so getting more requests, people who want to go autonomous. They want to go off grid, and and they don't want to do it for cost reasons. It's not that we have a greatly unreliable power grid in Denmark or northern Germany. They just want to do it. And what's interesting is if we take each of those 6 triggers or motives or whatever you would call it, and then look on if the primary motive or trigger is one of those 6. What about the other 5 triggers? How important are they? And I don't want to get into details with this. It's not a complete overview. This is not, I'm not stating the truth here. It's just a tool that we've been using to try to understand what way the market is moving. And what we see is a tremendous degree of symmetry. People who are interested in security of supply primarily, they don't care too much about the environment. And people who are triggered by environmental concerns are not too, they don't care too much about the security of supply. So basically, this tells me that these 2 are pretty much dead because there's only one trigger for buying. We have one like autonomy and security of supply. Those 2 are, no big surprise, coupled pretty hard, no matter which trigger is the primary one. The other one is the trigger 2, which is important. And then we have an interesting one. We have a couple of more interesting ones. But autonomy is a big one in general. And I will show you an example of, yeah, sorry, time is scarce, so I need to push forward. Oh, the headline is wrong here. Correct that in the release presentation. We have an example here. This is pretty much as standard as it gets. This is a real project that we have sold, and we have applied for planning permit on the project. This is the starting point. We have a grid connection, we have a standard meter, and we have a load. So we provide the power for lighting, for power in general, for heating, for cooking, for internet connections, and for servers. And this is important because this project is sold to a well-off marketing director of something. He built and owned and operated a big marketing services company in Copenhagen. And at some point he decided that he wanted to get off the wagon and move into the countryside and become fully independent from everything. It's a rare project in Denmark. We don't get a lot of those. But he works from home now, so he needs internet and data servers up and running all the time. So that led to this solution here, where we have still a grid connection, we have a meter, we have a wind turbine. That's a Gaia turbine from Rise Energy, by the way. Fantastic machine still. And then we have a solar system also, and a flow battery from Visblue in Denmark also. That was the original pitch. The guy, of course, wants to go green, so he's going to buy. He already bought one electric vehicle. So that was all fun until he heard the price tag on the full solution. This is the ideal solution for him. We have wind turbine, probably a couple of Gaias, maybe one Gaia, solar a PV system and a bigger battery. And then we have the regular loads, the normal loads, the essential loads. So we will need some kind of power management to do a non-essential load shedding. And then the EV charging station. Sorry, I didn't bother translate everything into English on the following slides. You probably get the big picture. And then he got the price tag on that, and that was also a bit interesting. Then we have a solution where we could basically downscale the green system, the renewable energy system and the storage system, and still have a grid connection for backup. This is what we ended up with in the first run. We have wind turbine, we have one Gaia machine, we have, I can't remember, probably like 12, 15, maybe 18 kilowatt peak PV. And then there's the option of sharing non-essential loads and keeping the critical load or essential loads online, if for some reason we don't want to buy from the grid. Okay. Anyway, that was just to share with you what we should be offering and what we think we have to be offering in the future. The hybrid solution with some picks from that. Okay, cutting to the chase. As an industry, how do we stop sailing up against the wind? It's my claim that we do, maybe we don't. Well, there's a short potential answer to that. It's not a problem that we sail up against the wind. We're used to doing so, and we will get better at it, at doing it. It's fine. It's not that we don't have an industry, and I'm sure somebody is making money worthwhile also, but that's fine. So basically, we're not going to change anything. We will just keep doing what we do. The long potential answer is, well, we should seek to reform the industry and its position in the market, and we have to grow a lot. So we have to shift our mindset from being a provider of machines to being providers of solutions, and we stop depending so much on the subsidies around the world, and we start instead developing the market and set some goals and say this is where we should be. It's kind of tough if you're feeding off subsidized opportunities, but the alternative is to stop feeding off subsidized opportunities. And then we try to evolve from being engineers and entrepreneurs, which I'm myself, and I'm proud of that. Oh, there's a misspelling here. We need to evolve from that we need to evolve into becoming industrialists. We need to industrialize our industry, our business area. So, and we need to start working the entire flow of providing consumer products. So that means looking into market needs and trends. We need to work the politics, the political side, which I've kind of given up, but somebody's got to do it. We need to work the regulations. We need to step out on the branding, not only our branding, but how we help our customers brand themselves by using our products. We have to try to influence consumers in any way that we can. We need to look into the integration of systems. That means hybrid systems, which I spoke for before, and others have promoted also today. Systems design. We need to raise the capital to grow the industry into a real industry. We need to look into the modern manufacturing that is needed for high volume. We need to look into customer protection. How do we ensure that our customers don't get left behind the next time somebody goes bankrupt? We have to provide the insurance scheme for the customers so they feel safe buying our products. What about financing and a lot of other stuff? I mean, that's customer project financing. All these elements are normally crucial for reaching volume and reasonable profitability in all other industries, including the electronics and electrical industry. And I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but this is what I see that we need. Oh, by the way, there's a third answer, which is maybe the most probable answer right now. We don't really know how to stop setting up against the wind, so we don't really stop trying. I don't know. This is, as I see it, for the industry as a whole, this has been the answer until now. Fine. I don't think I have so much more to bring forward at this time. More.
Well, thank you very much, Niels Martin. It has been very good thoughts you have made here. Well, it's really some very good thoughts to reflect on, and I think that's the whole business should actually, if they're not doing it already, look into these methods that show up. Thank you very much.
I said initially that I wasn't trying to pick a fight. I have to admit I lied. I do want to pick a fight. I do want people to react now or later on, and I really want to make myself and my organization available to colleagues, so that's cooperation partners, competition, anybody who thinks that I might be right or wrong, especially if they think I'm wrong.
But what I'm saying is, Martin, is that it's important that these thoughts are made. Then you can have an opinion about it. That's very well. And I think everybody has an opinion about it and how they want to act in the market and so on. And I know that you are acting, in my experience anyhow, in a very sober way. So it's just good. So
I do encourage everybody to reach out and get back to me or via you, Morten. Because
yeah, but you know, we are. But we do have some questions for you if you are willing to answer these. You're not obliged to do, but you can at least hear the questions. Please go on. It is from Chris Harris. Please go on, Chris Harris.
Harrison. Hello. Yeah. Thanks, Niels. I thought that was a very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I don't work in the small wind industry. I work in the very, very large wind industry. And yes, the big guys, okay, they're selling wind turbines with service contracts, you know, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Are you guys doing the same? Is your industry doing the same?
I can speak for ourselves. We sell our turbines with a 5-year warranty, provided that the customer enters a service contract. And we do provide service contracts beyond the 5 years also with a discount on consumables if there's a service contract. So on a consumer market, we're not really allowed to. This is to be considered a consumer type of market or a consumer market. On the consumer market, we're not really at liberty to tie the customer down too much. We can't prevent competition from providing the same services if it's a qualified service provider. But obviously, we do try to protect our service customer portfolio as best we can.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And then there is a question from Eric. Thank you, Chris Harrison. Eric, are you there? Maybe you have to press the button on the microphone.
Hi. I canceled my mute status. Can you hear me?
Please speak a bit louder.
Okay, I try. I put my question in the chat box, and it is just about the application, what was running, and my question is, did you think about V2G, so vehicle to the grid, as an application for a backup?
So that's what V2G, that's wind to grid, or what do you mean?
No, it's a vehicle to grid, so the EV.
Oh, no, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, sorry.
It's in two directions.
No, we didn't, not yet, because well, we do that some attention, but we're not certain. I'm not at least at all sure how to even approach that question, dealing with the EV charger services providers, charging services providers, and the car makers for that matter. It would be very interesting. We have a lot of requests for high capacity batteries, high as in, you know, 100, 200, 400 kilowatt range of storage capacity. And we get all those from people who have either bought or are interested in buying an electrical vehicle. And we basically tell them, well, it's not that we don't want to sell you a big battery, but you just bought one. So you might want to maximize utilization on that first, and then we can look into how that entire net flow of energy looks, the flow profile looks during 1 year.
That's correct. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. And then there is, and I think we are nearly at the end of time for this presentation. John Kemp, you've got a question for Niels Martin Jørgensen.
Hello, Niels. I'm just actually I've got two questions, and one is for Eric, potentially. My question, Niels, is what is your view on the value of electricity, as in per kilowatt hour? Do you think that it is undervalued in respect to its carbon cost, and therefore that the problem maybe, as much as people don't like to hear it, is that the value of the electricity is too low? And the second question was just with Eric raising vehicle to grid, I've just got a question as to how well he perceives that is developed, because whenever we've tried to include it, we've never managed to get to the point where either the car or the charger or the grid company will accept V2G.
Niels Martin, can you do it as fast as possible?
Yeah, I can. Thanks for the question, John. It's really interesting. I think it's a key question also. It puzzles me what people think of the value of 1 kilowatt hour. I'm at a loss here. I don't have an opinion about it because I don't have an answer. But if I were to take a stab, I would say that yes, it's undervalued. It's not valued highly enough, obviously. If I understood your question correctly.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I just canvassing opinion, really.
Yeah. No, it's a tough one, and that's my personal belief of what I think, how things are, and that's why we're looking into other triggers or incentives or motives that people may have, other than the green value or the monetary value. It could be other things. I know that. I remember speaking to Mike. I assume Mike Berg is somewhere in the meeting also now. And I remember speaking to Mike a few years back at his factory, and I was quite intrigued by some of the other customer types that Berge Wind has had for some time, other than pure return of investment of people wanting to go green. So.
Well, maybe Mike will open our eyes because he's the next speaker. And we'll soon go on. So, Niels Martin, thank you very much for your presentation.